Overshadow Gaza crimes. World reacts to U.S. attacks on Iraq and Syria. The United States has conducted a wave of airstrikes on Iran-aligned targets in Iraq and Syria in retaliation for an attack that killed American soldiers in Jordan. On Saturday, Iraq said 16 people, including civilians, were killed on its soil, and a monitoring group reported 18 people were killed in Syria. Washington has warned of more strikes to purportedly deter the Iran-backed axis of resistance amid Israel's war on Gaza. In announcing the overnight attacks, U.S. President Joe Biden said, "Our response began today. It will continue at times and places of our choosing." Here's how the world reacted to the U.S. action. Iran. The attacks are a violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Iraq and Syria, international law, and a clear violation of the United Nations Charter, said Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Nasser Kanaani. In addition to an all-out support of the U.S. for 4 months of relentless and barbaric attacks by the Zionist regime against the residents of Gaza and the West Bank, and military attacks on Yemen and violating the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country, last night's attacks on Syria and Iraq were another adventurous action and another strategic error by the U.S. government which will have no result but to intensify tensions and instability in the region. The attacks merely support the goals of the Zionist regime. Such attacks increasingly involve the U.S. government in the region and overshadow the crimes of the Zionist regime in Gaza. Iraq. This aggressive strike will put security in Iraq and the region on the brink of the abyss, the Iraqi government said in a statement, and denied Washington's claims of coordinating the air raids with Baghdad as false and aimed at misleading international public opinion. The presence of the U.S.-led military coalition in the region has become a reason for threatening security and stability in Iraq and a justification for involving Iraq in regional and international conflicts. Read the statement from Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani's office. Iraq reiterates its refusal to let the country be an arena for settling scores, said government spokesperson Bassem al-Wadi. Week in the Middle East. Catch up on our coverage of the region, all in one place. Yahya Rasool, the Iraqi military spokesperson, said the attacks constitute a violation of Iraqi sovereignty, undermine the efforts of the Iraqi government, and pose a threat that could lead Iraq and the region into dire consequences. The outcomes will have severe implications on the security and stability in Iraq and the surrounding region, Rasool added. Syria. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the strikes served to inflame the conflict in the Middle East in an extremely dangerous way, and added to Washington's record of violations against Syria's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the safety of its people, proving once again that it is the main source of global instability. The military said, the area targeted by the American attacks in eastern Syria is the same area where the Syrian Arab Army is fighting the remnants of the Daesh, ISIL, terrorist organization. And this confirms that the United States and its military forces are involved and allied with this organization, and are working to revive it as a field armed for it both in Syria and Iraq by all dirty means. The aggression of the American occupation forces at dawn today has no justification other than an attempt to weaken the ability of the Syrian Arab Army and its allies in the field of fighting terrorism, but the Army, Islamic resistance in Iraq. The coalition of U.S. and Israel-opposed armed groups in Iraq, which had suspended its attacks earlier this week, said it launched drones at a U.S. base in Erbil. Al Jazeera's Mahmoud Abdul-Wahed reported from Baghdad that Iraqi groups have also carried out attacks with missiles targeting the Al-Tanf military base in Syria, which is home to U.S. personnel, as well as the Ain al-Assad base in western Iraq. Hamas. We condemn in the strongest terms the American aggression against Iraq and Syria, and consider it a dangerous escalation, an infringement on the sovereignty of the two Arab countries, and a threat to their security and the stability of the region. In service of the occupation's expansionist agenda and covering up its horrific crimes against our Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip, read a statement from Hamas. The administration of U.S. President Biden bears responsibility for the consequences of this brutal aggression against both Iraq and Syria, which adds fuel to the fire. And we affirm that the region will not witness stability or peace except by stopping the Zionist aggression, crimes of genocide and ethnic cleansing against our people in the Gaza Strip, and ending the Zionist Nazi occupation. Hezbollah. Hezbollah strongly condemns the blatant American aggression against Iraq and Syria. What the United States of America has done is a blatant violation of the sovereignty of the two countries, an attack on their security and territorial integrity, and a shameless violation of all international and humanitarian laws. The Lebanese group said in a statement. Russia. It is obvious that the airstrikes are deliberately designed to further inflame the conflict, said Russia's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova. By attacking, almost without pause, the facilities of allegedly pro-Iranian groups in Iraq and Syria, the United States is purposefully trying to drive the largest countries in the region into conflict. Russia also called an urgent United Nations Security Council meeting over the U.S. strikes. We just demanded an urgent sitting of the UN Security Council over the threat to peace and safety created by U.S. strikes on Syria and Iraq, Moscow's diplomat at the UN, Dmitry Polyansky, said on social media on Saturday.